What is up, lads and lasses? Today, we're going to be diving deep into one of the most anticipated matchups in the UFC lightweight division, Arman Tsarukyan versus Islam Makhachev. Both fighters represent the future of the 155-pound division, and this bout has been a topic of intense discussion among fans and analysts alike. On paper, this stylistic clash between two incredibly skilled fighters, both with exceptional wrestling backgrounds, striking techniques, and fight IQs. Zaryukin, the Armenian-born fighter, has shown flashes of brilliance with his dynamic striking and relentless pressure, while Makhachev, the Dagestani powerhouse, brings a lethal combination of sambo, control, and suffocating pressure. But how do their skills stack up against each other? Let's break it down. Arman Tsarukyan made his UFC debut in 2019 against Islam Makhachev's training partner, the highly touted Magomed Mustafayev. Zaryukin showcased his striking ability, crisp combinations, and strong wrestling base. His high fight IQ and technical skills quickly gained attention. What stands out about Zaryukin is his versatility. He's equally dangerous standing on the ground, with a particular emphasis on fluid combinations, footwork, kicks, and a bit of counter striking. Some of his strengths are excellent and fast technical striking. He has a strong wrestling base, and he has an ability to fight in all areas. He adapts well mid-fight. His only weakness is that sometimes he can be over-aggressive when he feels like he's starting to lose the momentum a bit. He also needs to refine a bit of his takedown defense against elite wrestlers and judo players. One thing Islam kept getting him with in the last fight was a lot of judo throws and trips. Islam Makhachev, on the other hand, is the heir apparent to Habib Nurmagomedov. This has become one of the most dominant forces in the UFC. With his grappling skills unrivaled, his striking has been really technical, and though less flashy, it's efficient and measured. Like Habib, Islam Makhachev uses his pressure to suffocate opponents, grinding them against the cage and wearing them down before unleashing with ground and pound or securing submissions. His fight IQ is exceptional. He seems to be one step ahead of his opponent at all times. He's got elite sambo and wrestling, tactical striking, he's accurate and intelligent, and he has excellent cage control and top pressure. He drowns his opponents. The only weakness I would say is he's not as dynamic with the footwork, and he's rarely tested in truly high-paced striking exchanges. A lot of the time, there will be like short bursts where, because Islam is so technical with the striking, he always comes up in the exchanges. Now that we understand their individual fight styles, let's look at the key tactical aspects that could define this fight. Obviously, the first one is wrestling and grappling exchanges. Both Saryukin and Makhachev come from a wrestling background, but Makhachev's sambo style and control on the ground might give him an edge in this area. We've seen Makhachev use his wrestling to dominate opponents, not just with takedowns, but with suffocating top control, and judo throws, sweeps, and transitions. He's able to transition seamlessly between positions, from the clinch to the takedown, ground and pound, submissions, and he's able to switch from top to control to side to crucifix, get submissions quite easily. Zaryukin, however, has excellent wrestling as well. His wrestling defense against top-tier opponents like Gamrot showed his ability to scramble, defend, and create opportunities from tough positions. In his last fight against Islam, you saw this as well. He's also pretty strong. He's also like compact and strong, and that helps him to avoid being submitted, as we saw with the Charles Oliveira fight. If Zaryukin can keep the fight standing, or at least stay out of Makhachev's clinch, he could land damaging strikes and slow Makhachev's pace. On the striking, Makhachev is a bit more measured and technical, where Zaryukin is more dynamic and fluid. Zaryukin's speed and precision allowed him to land combinations, control the pace, and switch stances fluidly. His striking style is built around footwork and just staying out of range to land strikes and kicks, something he can exploit if he keeps Makhachev from closing the distance. On the other hand, Makhachev's striking is all about maintaining distance for his grappling entries. His jab and low kicks are used to set up his takedown attempts, and sometimes he can surprise you with a high kick like he did to Volkanovski. While he's not known for his explosive KO power, his accuracy and timing are lethal. And he does have, don't get me wrong, he does have power in those hands. Zaryukin's ability to disrupt Makhachev's rhythm and keep the fight at a range where Makhachev can't control him will be key. I think one thing Zaryukin can do is he could probably really try to chop the tree, strike his legs as much as possible for the first few rounds and keep the distance, That way you can kind of take a little bit away from that leg power when it comes to grappling exchanges, and from there they should be able to like even out a bit. Now, the third and final, element to a fight that will be key to who's victor is cardio and fight pace. Both men are known for their conditioning. This fight, if it's not for skill or skill disparity or a submission or something, it'll go to the fifth round. And both men are known for their conditioning. Zaryukin's relentless pace and pressure could be a deciding factor, though. If Zaryukin can push Makhachev to deep waters with high output, he could challenge Makhachev's ability to impose his control. But Makhachev, on the other hand, is more patient. He prefers to methodically break down his opponents over the course of 3 to 5 rounds. If he can get Zaryukin into the clinch against the cage, it's likely that Makhachev's control will start to wear down Zaryukin, particularly in later rounds. I feel that Zaryukin definitely likes to push the pace, right? He likes to be aggressive. He likes to uh, be the aggressor and push the pace and be a bull. But I don't think Islam is gonna fall into that trap. Islam, he like I said, he breaks down the fighter and then finishes it off later. I think the Arman Tsarukyan's game plan should be to keep the fight at a distance. Again, avoid being pressured, outstrike Makhachev, try to chop down the legs as much as he can, use his speed and agility, mix up his strikes, and make Makhachev's entries into the clinch difficult. He should also mix in his wrestling when necessary to keep Makhachev guessing. Right? He does have excellent wrestling, so he can use that part of his arsenal to keep the fight dynamic and not just easily let Islam dominate him. Arman will need to be aware of the threats of Makhachev's takedowns, particularly when he tries to set them up with his striking. The more Zaryukin can defend those strikes and force Makhachev to strike with him, the better his chances. Now, Islam's game plan is going to be what it usually is. He's going to keep steady pressure to force Zaryukin to fight at his pace. His best route to victory is through controlling the center of the octagon, closing the distance, initiating the clinch, set up takedowns, push him against the cage, hit him with the knees, hit him with the judo throws. And if he can get Zaryukin to the ground, he'll work for control, wear him down, and eventually hunt for a submission, or a ground and pound finish, which I feel like is the more likely option. Makhachev needs to avoid extended striking exchanges with Zaryukin, for sure, and make sure that he's not caught in any scrambles or exchanges that can leave him vulnerable. Zaryukin has been training with, I think, that one guy who knocked him out, which, I mean, obviously Islam is not going to fall for that again. Islam was very young and immature at that time. He really wanted to show off his striking and be different, and that's where he got caught. And Zaryukin is touting some random secret move, which I don't really know. It might be like a leg lock or something. But yeah, I think what makes this fight so intriguing is the X factors that both fighters bring. For Zaryukin, his ability to land clean, precise shots under pressure could be a game changer, especially if he can catch Islam Makhachev on the way in, like a clinch or something like that. He's able to output Makhachev in striking exchanges and stuff a few takedowns pretty easily early on in the match. It should shake Makhachev's confidence to just go for a takedown and that kind of thing. They need to ensure that the fight is that Makhachev is guessing, right? For Makhachev, though, his durability and control in the clinch will be the deciding factor. If he can dictate the position of the fight, slow Zaryukin's output, land some of his own strikes, it'll wear on Zaryukin's conditioning and take the fight into deep waters. And eventually, Islam will be able to, sweep him, take him down. I feel like this fight is going to be a matter of like mind control, right? I feel like both fighters are equally skilled in very similar like parts of MMA, sambo, wrestling. They both have really great striking. I think, if anything, both of these fighters have improved since their last fight quite a bit. So this might be the same where they're like kind of stalemating each other in exchanges, and it then just becomes a game of the mind. Now, personally, I feel like mentally, Islam Makhachev definitely has the upper hand when it comes to mental fortitude, right? Coming from Dagestan, being born and raised in that atmosphere, training under Abdul Manap with the rest of those fighters. I mean, Abdul Manap put these kids like since they were like little boys until they grew up in a very military like training regimen, right? And one of the biggest factors that makes the Marines or any kind of special operations force who they are, their greatest specialty, their greatest attribute that they have over any other military branch is that mentality, the mental fortitude, the discipline, the ability to be like dropped in the middle of the ocean and swim to shore under all circumstances, without being tired, without being thirsty, that kind of thing. And I feel like Islam Makhachev definitely has that over Tsarukyan. So this fight is going to be I feel it's going to be a fascinating chess fight between two elite, well-rounded strikers, wrestlers, and just all-round MMA fighters. Again, Tsarukyan has the striking, the speed, and the wrestling defense to make this a competitive bout, while Makhachev brings his world-class pressure, wrestling, and fight IQ to the table. The winner of this fight will likely emerge as the next big contender. Either Arman Tsarukyan is going to be the next champion, right? And I don't see anybody beating Arman Tsarukyan for a while. Or Islam Makhachev takes this win and he moves up to welterweight. And I feel like he moves up to welterweight and wins the belt. I personally feel like Makhachev is going to win the fight. So, yeah. Well, that's all I had to say. I kind of mixed in, like, reading off a video essay script and ad-libbing. So that's why the tone of this video kind of shifted. You guys let me know what y'all think of this video. And who do y'all think takes the victory? Drop your thoughts and comments below. Make sure to subscribe for more fight breakdowns and analyses. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you all next time. Peace.